Here.
Terry Hadley.
Here.
Christopher Cameron.
Here.
Gloria Mendoza.
Here.
Sandra Yendo.
Oh, me, I'm sorry. I'm here, but I'm sleeping, like that news person was, like this.
I know, I saw that.
Lori Viniford.
Here.
Allison Thomas.
Here.
Angelo Jones-Bond.
Here.
Susan Kennedy.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could we please stand for the invocation and the pledge?
Lord, we ask your guidance today as we consider matters that will affect safety and welfare of many people in our county. Help us to listen with open minds to matters that are important before us and to act on the matters that will benefit those who reside in our area. Keep our minds open and alert, our hearts compassionate, and our comments charitable. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Zoning Commission of Palm Beach County has convened at 9 a.m. in the Vista Center Ken Rogers Hearing Room to consider proposed applications and staff recommendations pursuant to and other actions the Palm Beach County Unified Land Development Code. The Commission takes final action regarding Class B conditional uses, subdivision variances, and Type 2 variances, and issues advisory recommendations on other requests. The Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County will conduct a public hearing at 301 North Olive Avenue, West Palm Beach, Florida, in the Jane M. Thompson Memorial Chambers, 6th floor at 9:30 a.m. on applications not subject to Zoning Commission final action. Zoning hearings are quasi-judicial in nature and must be conducted to afford all parties due process. The Board of County Commissioners has adopted procedures for the conduct of quasi-judicial hearings to govern the conduct of such proceedings. The procedures include the following. Any communication with commissioners which occurred outside the public hearing must be fully disclosed at the hearing. Applicants and persons attending the hearing may question commissioners regarding their disclosures. Such questions shall be limited solely to the disclosures made at the hearing or the written communication made a part of the record at the hearing. Any person representing a group or organization must provide documentation that the person representing the group has the actual authority to do so regarding the matter before the Commission. Any person who wishes to speak at the hearing will be sworn in and may be subject to cross-examination. The applicant and county staff may cross-examine witnesses. Any other persons attending the hearing may submit cross-examination questions, including follow-up questions to the chair, who will conduct the examination. The scope of cross-examination is limited to the facts alleged by the witness in relation to the application. Public comment is encouraged, and all relevant information should be presented to the Commission in order a fair and appropriate decision can be made. Do we have proof of publication?
Yes, we do.
Motion to receive and file?
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
County Attorney, would you please do swearing in?
All those wishing to testify or speak today on today's quasi-judicial items, please rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Do we have approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve
I'll second the motion.
the July.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Agenda approval. We have some additions and deletions.
Yes, we have some modifications on the regular agenda under B, item 4, DOA 2025-01903, Military Belvedere Shopping Center, Mavis Tire. We have a modification to Exhibit B, the standards finding specifically under adequate public facilities for our Land Development Division. And then we have the addition of a revised drainage statement in Exhibit F7. Under ULDC for our large-scale data center moratorium, there is a modification to add additional language, and that is it.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda with the amendments.
With amendments.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Conflicts and recusals.
What about the pulled items?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none.
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 None. Okay, and what did you want me to?
What about the pulled items from consent?
Oh,
Are
did
there
we need
any?
to do that? Because there was nothing we wanted to pull from consent, right? There was nothing, no. Yeah, okay. All right. Postponements.
We have two items under our postponement agenda, both applications of which do not require a motion. The first one being PDD CAZB 2025-293, Park West Commerce North, and item 2 ZCAZB 2025-300, Park West Commerce South. But no motion is necessary.
Thank you. That's the end of postponements. On to the consent agenda. Any disclosures for the consent agenda?
None.
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 And I have none.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second a motion, but I have a question on it.
Go ahead.
If there was a paucity of information on this item. Just the RS, what's the potential number of units on this 0.45 acres?
Good morning, Travis Goodson with the Planning Division. This parcel has a land use of low residential 2 units per acre, which comes out to 0.9 or rounded to 1, so 1 unit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So that
Motion's adopted.
yeah, you're good. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
passes. On to regular agenda.
Okay, item 4, DOA 2025-01903 is the Military Belvedere Shopping Center, Mavis Tire. The request before the board is a recommendation for a development order amendment to add additional square footage, modifying the uses and site elements, as well as the conditions of approval. I don't know if we have any cards on that.
We have no cards up here yet.
Would you
Oh,
like
I'm
it?
sorry. I apologize. No cards for that one. For 5C, we do.
So would you like a presentation from the applicant on item 4?
I was going to say I would. So
No.
sorry.
Not for me.
That was a yes.
That was a yes from anybody.
No problem. I'll keep it short and sweet. Scott Backman on behalf of the applicant. Hope everyone's had a great summer so far, and it's great to see everyone again. So I'm going to be presenting on a Mavis Tire and Brakes. You'll see as I work my way through the presentation where it's located in a large shopping center within its... Oh, so sorry. Sorry. Usually not a problem for me. Within a large shopping center, within the Westgate CRA, who we have met with, who is recommending support of the project. And this is on a parcel, as you'll see in just a moment, that was previously approved about 4 or 5 years ago for a car wash use. I think they were just too slow to get to an approval when it was built right across the street. So the car wash use is no longer necessary or viable for the market. That owner chose to sell the parcel. And so we've been processing this application for the better part of the last 6 to 8 months through the county. There we go. So it's just north of the actual parcel. The overall shopping center is at the hard corner of Military and Belvedere, effectively right across from the far west side of the airport. There's a large Walmart. You see the Murphy USA down at the corner. That gas station used to be just to the north on what is now a future development parcel, as you'll see on the approved site plan for this shopping center. Murphy relocated to where there was a Walgreens. And then the 0.68 acres, which is what we're really here talking about today, was an old restaurant. It's been vacant for the better part of a decade. And as I shared with you, was about 4 or 5 years ago, was processed and approved for a drive-through car wash type use. So as I mentioned, we're also located within the Westgate CRA. We met with the Westgate CRA, I believe, at the end of last year, made a full presentation to them. You'll see a little later in this presentation, they're recommending support and approval. And as you'll see on our site plan in just a few moments, the plan itself, the building itself, was actually rearranged to comply with county and Westgate regulations so that it kind of fronts more on the street than being in the middle of the development parcel like you would see with the traditional out parcel. So this is just an existing picture of the aerial. The building has actually been demolished. That was all done as part of unsafe structures, code enforcement, things of that nature by the current property owner. So here's the approved plan that I mentioned. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen the layout and the use that was approved previously, the car wash, and we spent quite some time, I handled that approval as well, quite some time in the approval process then with regard to the layout and the design of the site, and ultimately moving the building up to the site, ensuring that access was internal to the MUPD. And then again, you can see the overall larger site plan and how it plays into the overall plan. At the time, the Murphy use, as you can see, was also approved. Actually, I think the car wash came first, and Murphy came second, but this is now the approved site plan that Murphy provided. Again, just some existing conditions of this particular out parcel from various perspectives. So Mavis, again, similar to other small repair vehicle uses, tire changes, brake changes, oil changes, things of that nature. No major repair occurs on the property. It's all minor vehicle repair, no body work, things of that nature. So the site plan that you're looking at, originally when this came in and was proposed, the building was more central to the site. You'll see on the next page that there are some bay doors, obviously, for the nature and type of the use. At one point, they fronted on Military Trail. Doesn't really comply with what Westgate CRA or Palm Beach County wants, and so spending some time working our way through the process with both agencies, ended up moving the building up to the street. You'll see in just a moment the bay doors face either to the north or to the east, so internal to the MUPD and not out onto the street where you actually have a store frontage. The overall site plan, substituting the car wash with the proposed use. And then this is what I was just referencing. I'll show you elevations in just a moment. The main entrance is on the north side. You've got a storefront on the west side fronting Military. And then there are bay doors on the north and the east side of the property with sufficient parking to meet code. So these are the elevations of this proposed building. I think of importance and note, the bay doors have actually been upgraded. They're glass in this particular case, as opposed to another Mavis site that was approved on Military Trail just north of just north of Hypoluxo, that has more traditional, garage style bay doors. And so obviously that's something else in terms of the upgraded architecture and that was proposed for this particular location. I think with that, we do meet all the requirements in the staff report. Staff is recommending approval. The Westgate CRA did the same when we presented to them and provided us a letter. And we are happy to answer questions. We do have our civil engineer, a representative from Mavis, if there are any specific questions with regard to the use. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? No
I think
questions?
we need disclosures. Disclosures?
Oh, sorry. Disclosures? Do you have any disclosures? No.
I have none.
I spoke to Scott Bachman.
No disclosures.
None.
None.
None. Sorry. Thank you for reminding me. All right. Any comments or questions from Commission?
No, a motion to recommend approval, item 4A.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda under ULDC revisions, we have modifications to the ULDC relative to self-service storage facilities. And we have Alex here for a presentation.
Good morning. For the record, Alex Byray of the Zoning Division. These proposed changes to the Palm Beach County Unified Land Development Code correct that self-service storage facility uses be allowed in zoning districts with a commercial low office or commercial high office future land use designation. Planning Ordinance number 2020-011 amended future land use element policy 2.2.4-B of the Palm Beach County Comprehensive Plan to allow self-service storage facilities with commercial low office or commercial low future land use designations with an increased maximum allowable floor area ratio up to 0.85. Furthermore, in the 1990s, self-service storage facilities in the multiple use plan development zoning district with a commercial low office or commercial high office future land use designation were previously allowed as a requested use, which corresponds to public hearing approval, but was omitted in the 2003 code rewrite. Therefore, the proposed code revision implements the plan and captures prior approvals, requesting development order amendments by simultaneously updating and correcting the code proposed self-service storage facilities in zoning districts with a commercial low office or commercial high office future land use designation would be subject to Class A conditional use approval from the Board of County Commissioners. At the July 14th hearing, the Board of County Commissioners approved requests for permission to advertise for first reading at the August 27th, 2026 zoning hearing by a vote of 7-0, as use regulations are proposed to be revised. If first reading is approved by the board, final adoption would be advertised and heard after. Staff recommends approval from this commission for a recommendation to the BCC to approve the proposed code revision, and this commission, serving as the Land Development Regulation Commission pursuant to the Community Planning Act, recommends that the proposed code revisions be found consistent with the plan. That concludes my presentation, and we will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have questions?
I believe we have a card.
No.
Do we
Okay.
have a card?
We do have a card. So with that,
Sure. Lisa Johnson.
when you come to the podium, just state your name and address for the record, please. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is that on? Hi, my name is Lisa Johnson, and I live at 17856 89th Place North in Loxahatchee, Florida. I'm here today to represent the Acreage Landowners Association, and the storage should not be allowed in commercial low. Commercial low would allow it in the overlay area at Seminole Pratt and Orange Boulevard in the unincorporated acreage. And this is something that we were trying to avoid. There was in 2007 an approval for Orange Seminole Plaza at that corner, and we did some transitional commercial properties that were near it at 0.05 FAR. And those were to reflect the acreage neighborhood plan and keep the rural character. So as far as the commercial low, it only should be allowed in commercial high and industrial areas to have the proper infrastructure serving the property on county thoroughfares and not on residential streets. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a question. Do you have a letter stating that you represent the? No. No. You're just articulating that you represent them, but you don't actually have.
I can get that.
We don't necessarily need it. I just wondered, usually it would be
I'll
submitted.
volunteer with the Acreage Landowners Association.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions?
I have a question for the staff, just following up on Ms. Johnson's question. I'm assuming if there was any proposal to put in a self-storage unit in the area she was referring to, that would still be subject to whatever regulations govern that particular zoning area, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so to the extent that there's limitations on the size or what have you, the fact that we're adopting something to include self-storage units within commercial low, it's still going to be subject to the regulations in that particular zoning area.
Yeah, and what we can do between now and BCC is possibly look at if it's just limited to the urban suburban tier versus allowing it in the other tiers. So.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to concur with that. I mean, especially if it's not consistent with an existing neighborhood plan and an adopted area.
And then I just had a question too, which she had mentioned residential streets. Like typically commercial is not in residential streets if I'm looking at it the way I would.
But that's how it's stated, isn't it?
That is correct. Our requirement, all obey with land development. So in the case of the parcel that the representative just outlined, Orange and Seminole Pratt, those are county roads and those are commercial roads. But yes, commercial uses are on commercial roads, so we have that requirement.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any more comments or motion? Oh.
Point of clarification, it's been brought up commercial low. It's already allowed in commercial low. This revision is proposing commercial low office.
Say that again, please.
So self-service storage facilities are allowed, subject to Class A conditional use, I believe, with a commercial low future land use designation. These revisions revise the use regulations to allow it in commercial low office.
A different type of flu.
Right.
I didn't know you can do that.
So right now, the code already allows self-storage in commercial high and commercial low. This is to allow it in commercial low office and commercial high office.
Do you have a comment? No. Okay. All right. All right. Do I have a motion or?
I'll motion to recommend approval of the proposed ULDC revision, and at the same time, we do B as well.
Yes.
And the zoning commission serving as the land development regulation commission pursuant to 163.3194 Florida statute recommends that the proposed ULDC revision is found to be consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any comments? No. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Next item on the agenda is another modification to our Unified Land Development Code, and this is a moratorium for large-scale data centers. And I believe Darren Leiser with our county attorney's office.
Yes, hi, good morning. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
This item is a moratorium on comp plan and zoning applications for large-scale data centers, as that term is defined in the Florida statutes, for a period of the shorter of 1 year from the adoption of the ordinance, which is scheduled for September 27th, or the effective date of adopted LDRs or comp plan amendments related to large-scale data centers. A large-scale data center is defined as a single location with a data center on it with an anticipated monthly peak load of 50 megawatts or more. And so the moratorium will prohibit staff from accepting or processing applications for large-scale data centers. It has an exception for properties that have been damaged by hurricanes Debbie, Helene, or Milton, and this is in order to comply with the prohibition on moratoriums for reconstructing damaged properties from those hurricanes that is in Senate Bill 180. The moratorium is being proposed in response to direction from the BCC on July 7th. Since then, we've had a zoning in progress, meaning that staff has not been accepting any new data center applications, but this does not prohibit staff from processing the applications that were filed before July 7th, 2026.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Wendy, I thought that the county already adopted this or recommended this. Oh, sorry. I thought they already adopted this. The county did.
They gave us direction to bring
they just
forward.
gave you direction to bring forward.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
I
what
knew
we're
there was
doing
something.
here is bringing forward the ordinance for the moratorium.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what's before us, there's two things, right? One is adopting the definition and the other is adopting the moratorium?
Correct.
Yeah, well, it's all one thing, though,
Okay.
yes. But we have to put a definition of what a large-scale data center is so that the moratorium that says no large-scale data centers has some sort of, as a standard.
So let me ask you, so the idea of having the moratorium is so you all can spend more time investigating data center or large-scale data centers and how they might be able to be zoned properly for our county. So here's my question as to my issues with regards to the definition. I really don't have an issue voting for it, but I think it perhaps needs to be worked on from this perspective. Because I know the last hearings we had, and this was focused on the particular zoning regulations of that area, the issue was whether the proposed data center was a light industrial or heavy industrial. Okay, that was sort of the issues that we were dealing with last time. This definition focuses on the megawatts, and I looked at statutes and I recognize that there's two definitions in the statute, or two statutes that use the definition that that's at issue here. And one was with regards to public utilities, which is, I think, where you referenced 366.043. There is another statute, 373.262, that deals with large-scale data center permitting, and this is under the water resources. So I recognize that both of those definitions are the same ones that you've used, that focuses on the 50 megawatts or more, that being the sort of defined. My concern is in the future that there may be more than simply looking, the definition of a large-scale or a hyperscale data center may involve more factors other than just simply the electrical use, because I know the last time we were dealing with concerns about noise and water use and heat generation and the amount of electricity use, because the definition right now is really focused simply on electrical use. So my concern is that perhaps you guys continue to look at the definition as you work through defining and regulations for the permitting of large-scale data centers.
So in Article 4 of our Unified Land Development Code, we have a myriad of uses. And then as you look at that particular use, we have the definition of the use. We typically have what a typical use is. And then we have subcategories of additional supplemental standards that might include where it can be located, the type of road, the distance from residential. I'm just giving you examples. So as we have this moratorium, we will be analyzing if there is a need for additional supplemental standards that relate to large-scale data centers. So it isn't, right now it's just definition, so we, anybody who wants to come in that's proposing this 50 megawatt can't apply. But then after that moratorium is finalized or done and we have code language, the code language might include additional standards for that specific use.
And I appreciate that, because I think that's obviously going to be the area of contention in the future. If somebody comes in, an applicant says, well, we're at 49 megawatts, so we're not a large-scale or hyperscale data center, and perhaps they really are based on other factors.
In the staff report, you list the other local governments that have adopted moratoriums on this issue, and not all of them are using the same 50 megawatt definition of data center, I'm assuming, because their electrical power threshold is much lower or not applicable. Why did we use this legal standard and not what, I don't know, Citrus County used or whatever?
Primarily because this is what the statute allows us to regulate, and they defined it as a 50 megawatt large-scale user, so that's why we're using the definition.
Right, but I'm going to assume these other counties also had a legal basis for their moratoriums.
I can't speak for the other counties. I don't know what they're doing, I don't know why they chose the language that they chose, but this is the language that we chose.
Okay.
One last question. I'm a little puzzled by the fact that we're using up to 50, as the gentleman was just saying. Somebody can come in here with 50.25, and you can't turn them down to bring their application in. It's the way this reads.
50.25.
Well, in other words,
You mean 49?
49.25.
Yeah.
So really, it's why wasn't it done with more of a brush across the whole board until you had this opportunity?
Because we have this restriction under Senate Bill 180 that basically is hamstringing us when it comes to making changes to our LDRs until October of 2027. But we have this subsequent legislation related to the data centers that is very specific with respect to what can be regulated as a data center. And so therefore, we are following the legislative guidance. And so we feel that this makes it the moratorium, I guess, I wouldn't say bulletproof, but as safe as possible from legal challenge.
Well, you're right about the legal challenge, but it seems like a big loophole because somebody comes in here with the 49 number, you can't turn them down.
I mean, we have to process the application. That
Right.
doesn't
Well, you
necessarily
can
mean
turn
they
it
get
down,
approved.
right.
So, yeah.
But that means we still have to spend the time and effort when the whole object here, from the way I read it, is to be able to have time to come up with a better plan so we don't go through what we did in the past. But again, with water, noise, and other, because there's new, from what I've been reading, there's new processes out there to deal with the water and noise abatement and other things that are coming really fast on data centers down the road. So we need to stall this until that stuff is there for us to review and make it part of any real regulation.
But Darren, are you saying that we are, by state statute, we can only do 50?
Up to 50.
Right, up to 50.
In my opinion, at this point, yes. I mean, our regulations, once we adopt our regulations, we'll see how that turns out. But for the moratorium, yeah.
I think they're trying to make us as defensible as possible for legal suits.
Well, I get that, but that still doesn't make it easy.
No.
Nothing is easy.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I just want to know that during these months that you're going to be working on this, we are going to have a determination whether or not you consider it light industrial or heavy industrial. Or are we going to be expecting that?
I think, I mean, look, I'm not at staff, so I'm not the expert in drafting the regulations,
Well,
but
I'm
I think that's an issue that will be over-encompassing.
Yes, when we will be, this code language will be distributed to multiple agencies to review. We're looking at the possibility of some sort of subcommittee as well. So we will be analyzing it. We'll have our planning staff available as well that we'll be looking at that proposed language and how it affects the different land uses that this particular use would be allowed in.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
So I would urge that, I mean, the way I view this is sort of like a doorstop to give you the year, but I don't think the definition is truly adequate for the long term to be applied, because I don't think it encompasses all the factors. And so my hope is that during this moratorium, you all work on a more accurate definition of a hyperscale data center or large-scale data center, because my view is it's not really defined in the Florida statutes. I did look this up, and there was 2 statutes that address it, but they're really under like use of water usage, and then also under regulating tariffs under public utilities, is where the definition at issue became. I don't really view it. I don't think we're actually required to limit. We're limited at 50 megawatts. I think you could pick whatever you want. I don't even know what 50 megawatts is. What I understand is like it'll power 15,000 homes or something like that. So anyways, for today's purposes and for the moratorium, I would be in favor of it, but I think the definition needs to be worked on because I think it is a massive loophole that is created. And perhaps between now and your board of county commissioners meeting, too. You can work on it.
I agree with that.
As do I. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that would help.
okay.
We have 2 comment cards. So,
Sure. All right. So, Susan Loisel, you had a card.
before you speak, Susan, I just wanted, because we got the card late, were you sworn in?
No.
Okay, we need to swear her in.
I do.
And please just state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Okay. Sue Loisel, 19711 Weather Vane Way, Loxahatchee, Florida. Thank you. Good morning, members of the Zoning Board. My name is Sue Loisel, and I am here to urge the Board to proceed with real caution on the proposed large-scale data center definition and moratorium language. This is not a routine code change. A facility with an anticipated monthly peak load of 50 megawatts or more at a single location represents a land use with major potential implications for energy capacity, infrastructure, water resources, emergency planning, neighboring communities, and long-term growth policy. The county should not rush the language of this importance. My concern is that if this moratorium language is not airtight, the county may create the very protection it intends to provide on paper while leaving openings that can be used to avoid it in practice. Any ambiguity, exemption, undefined term, or procedural gap could become a loophole. This is why this language needs to be examined from every possible angle before a county relies on it. I respectfully ask the board not to simply recommend approval and move on. I ask you to recommend that Palm Beach County bring in independent outside experts to help draft and review permanent regulations, including experienced land use planners, independent land use counsel, utility and power capacity experts, environmental, water resource professionals, and infrastructure specialists. The county should not only rely on internal review for an issue as technical and as consequential. The words adopted here will determine what is stopped, what is allowed, what is exempt, and whether residents are truly protected while the county studies this use. If the language is weak, unclear, and incomplete, the consequences will fall on the public, not on the applicants seeking approvals. Other local governments are facing the same issues as you mentioned. Palm Beach County should learn and coordinate with them rather than reinventing this language under pressure. The moratorium period should be used to gather the best experts available, compare approaches, identify weaknesses, close loopholes, and develop the strongest enforceable protections possible. So my request is direct. Please slow down enough to get it right. Recommend approval only with clear expectations that the county will use this moratorium period to bring in independent experts, scrutinize the language, and protect residents before any large-scale data center application can exploit uncertainty in the code. The county has only one chance to set the foundation correctly. Please make it strong, clear, and ironclad as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa Johnson.
Good morning again. Lisa Johnson, 17856 89th Place North, Loxahatchee, Florida. I am speaking today on behalf of the Acreage Landowners Association. For more than 50 years, our association has represented residents of Western Palm Beach County, advocating for responsible growth while protecting our rural communities, natural resources, and quality of life. We support the proposed large-scale data center moratorium and commend Palm Beach County for recognizing that these facilities require regulations beyond those currently found in the Unified Land Development Code. Your staff report acknowledges that the current ULDC does not adequately regulate large-scale data centers and identifies concerns including noise, water consumption, electrical demand, water disposal, compatibility, and environmental impacts. It also states that the purpose of this moratorium is to allow time to develop appropriate regulations. For those of us in the Western community, water is our lifeline. Thousands of families rely on private wells. We respectfully ask that groundwater protection, aquifer sustainability, and the interests of our well-dependent communities be central to these new regulations. We also ask the county to require independent studies addressing noise, water demand, electrical infrastructure, thermal impacts, and compatibility with nearby homes, schools, farms, and environmentally sensitive lands. As other counties have added with their moratoriums, we respectfully request that the county also include battery energy storage systems, BESS, in this effort, because they present unique land use, public safety, fire protection, environmental, and compatibility issues. All of these technologies, as these technologies evolve, we ask the county to consider what happens when these facilities reach the end of their useful life. If a data center or battery storage facility is abandoned or the owner leaves, who is responsible for removing the equipment, remediating the site and restoring the property. We encourage the county to consider long-term requirements and financial assurances as part of future regulations. Finally, we respectfully ask that the Acreage Landowners Association email that was sent be included in the official record and an evidence binder, and that our association be included as a stakeholder in developing these regulations. This moratorium is an opportunity to get it right. Please adopt regulations that protect our groundwater, our rural communities, and future generations before the next application is accepted. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another question. Oh, go ahead.
We have one more card.
One more card.
But they
Does
just wanna
not
read
wish
it.
to speak. So, P.S. Scorin, 12211 Orange Grove Boulevard in West Palm Beach. Not in favor of data centers or similar to be in or near residential schools, preserves. There are myriad valid concerns about water, air, noise. Various decibel noise can cause human and animal stress when consistent or regularly or intimate. There's a lot more on this card. Ms. Scorin, would you like to come up and just state your position
And
here?
just be put into
Yeah,
the
just
record.
put it into
Okay,
record.
fair
It's
enough.
just- yeah. No, I think
You're
we're-
allowed to speak. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's past. I think we're further into. So we're going to just put this into record. We're just going to put it into record. Okay.
So would you want me for what?
Yep. No, sorry. He was going to have you read it, but I said it came in too late, so we're just going to put your comments into the record. Okay.
In favor of a moratorium, obviously. Not in favor of anything that's going to affect our precious water, our air. These things should not be close to residences. I was at a meeting yesterday. Somebody told us that there was a mobile nuclear unit that they were talking about moving around as well. I think all of these things come to a nexus, which is that we need to be monitoring what's coming in here, where is it being stored, how's it going to be remediated if something goes wrong. In any case, we're looking to you guys to protect us. I don't know about you, I'm not planning to go to Mars, like my feet on terra firma, so please help us. The Acreage Landowners Association is very critical to our neighborhood, and we hope you'll include us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a question
Yes.
for staff. Darren, I think I heard what you said, but if you could go back and clarify on this. The moratorium actually says when the moratorium is in effect, the county shall not accept, process, or approve any applications. But I think you said that any application that had already been submitted to the staff was going to be continue to go through the process?
The ones that were submitted before.
Yeah, you can't cut them off.
Yes.
Right. So even if it would apply to this definition.
Doesn't matter.
Correct.
Okay. And I just wanted to say, I agree. I don't agree with this definition at all, and I'm not sure that the county commissioners, I don't think this is going to match their intent. But I think the answer of we don't know what the other counties base theirs on, I don't think that that's an adequate answer. I think that if another county or local government has legally based their moratoriums on another issue other than the 50 megawatt standard, then I think that that should be looked into, because I think that this does offer too many loopholes. Thank you.
So can I ask, kind of to your question and then back to staff, so if we were to approve this moratorium as it is, the plan is that you would take the year to identify it, bring in consultants, really analyze what we're doing with regard to the water and the energy. So that is one part, but the concern is that if we vote on this, that still could allow others, they would still have to go through the process, though, so.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
They'd still go through the process, but as it's defined, they would be going under light industrial, just like everything else, just like the current application is on the other part of this larger parcel that we heard a couple months
Yeah,
ago.
but it doesn't mean they're going to be approved. That just means they're going through the process.
But it doesn't necessarily come before board. The application that's in process right now is at staff level.
Well,
No.
it all depends on the zoning district and where this particular use would be located, that we would have to analyze it. So obviously the prior site had a specific economic development center flu, which had different policies and objectives to it. So if the use were to come in, we would look at it comprehensively with its location, the zoning district, and the land use to make sure that whatever they are proposing, however they are proposing it, we get the substantial information and make sure that it's compliant with the intent and objectives of the plan as well as the zoning code.
Right, but the issues that we raised as a board regarding data centers as being light industrial versus heavy industrial, high industrial before, all of those issues that we raised before still, any other applicant can come in and still go in and raise all of those issues all over again. Like the definition of this moratorium wouldn't necessarily apply because if they're under 50 megawatts, they would go underneath it. So, I think this is the same. We're all kind of raising the same issue that we're in favor of the moratorium for these hyperscale data centers, but I'm not sure that this definition captures the intent of the moratorium countywide.
Can we approve the moratorium, but say we don't think that the definition of large-scale data centers is sufficient or adequate? And that's this is just a recommendation, and then the Board of County Commissioners has to address those issues, or should address it.
We can note that that's your concern, absolutely.
Yeah, and that gives you time between now and the county meeting to maybe come up with a better definition, because I think this is a horrible 50 is a joke.
Look, I understand what you're saying, but I'd like to point out that the section 163.326 states, local governments shall maintain the authority to exercise the powers and responsibilities for comprehensive planning and land development regulation granted by law with respect to large load customers. A large load customer may not be considered an electric substation for the purpose, and then of 163.328, and then it specifically defines a large load customer as a customer that's using 50 megawatts. So that's where the number comes from.
But can't we add to that, though?
Pardon me?
Can't we change the modify?
And let me just interrupt, if you would. Yes, this specific law gives us the ability to regulate this specific use, but we also have the rest of 163 and all of the other state laws of Florida that allows us to regulate all of the uses in Palm Beach County. We don't have to stick with just this one thing on electrical. There's all of the other health welfare standards that we have.
I think so. Those issues will be dealt with during the moratorium.
Right, but our concern is that there are applications that can come in underneath this threshold that will not be moratoriumed.
Because it's easy to come underneath this threshold. But can't you guys put a better definition to this?
Why don't we will look at it. There's going to be 2 hearings. Because this is relative to Article 4, we'll have our hearing in August for first reading, and then it would be final adoption in September. But between now, obviously, we've taken in all of your comments that we have, and we will look at it, and then we will also all the applications that come in, let's say they are only 30 megawatts, we're going to be analyzing even 30 megawatts to make sure it's compliant with the code and the land use, and that we have language in the code as it relates to noise and vibration and sound and lights. We have that in the code, so we will be analyzing it. We're taking your comments and direction, but and we'll look at that in this interim moratorium period for the use.
But Wendy, I think what we're all trying to say is there's too many other avenues that could be mentioned in here directly, like water and some of the other avenues that are available to us that we're not really hitting on. That I agree with her. We're not putting in. The definition could be cleaned up a little bit and still stay in compliance with the statute that he's reading from.
Right, and as I said,
I just think this is too loosey-goosey
We'll look at the definition, but in the moratorium period, we're also going to be looking at all of those other supplemental standards that could be added to the use as well. It's just not part of this one because we're just defining it to stop accepting the applications.
It looks like we've opened the door to everything under 50. We're saying to the applicants, come on forward. we'll get around all the rest of the stuff. That's what it kind of looks like. Yeah, exactly.
So, what I understand is there's not a lot of focus right now in the state, or there hasn't been. There's becoming increasingly on large-scale data centers, and there really aren't a lot of definitions out there, and it needs to be worked. And I recognize you guys are sort of at the cutting edge of this now, okay, like a lot of other counties are having to grapple with this and come up with a definition. So what I think is, it's a little bit of the cart before the horse, is I would like us to be able to recommend the moratorium, not agree with the definition or say that it's inadequate at this time, and you guys work on it, and it will be addressed with the Board of County Commissioners.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, too. Yeah. So is that a motion?
That was a
Actually,
motion.
That's how we should put it. We should put it as part of a motion.
Yeah.
So it becomes part of the record.
Right.
That we approved this, but we weren't content with the way it was presented. And I understand his hands are tied to the statute, but I think we can also add that statute isn't bulletproof. There leaves holes in that statute that we can clean this up a little bit better by maybe be more efficient in the definitions of parts of this. So somebody can go back if they came in with 30 or 20 and maybe not meet those portions of the regulations, even though they're not they're under 50. Is what she's trying to say.
It's like locking a screen door.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys can do that between now and the BC meeting. Winnie could do most anything.
And can I just ask a question? Just it might seem silly based on me sitting in this position with the rest of my colleagues here. If somebody were to come and put something before you that is like, let's say, 30 megawatts, does it not come before us or the Board of County Commissioners?
It depends on where it's located.
And if
what
it's
zoning
within
district.
the jurisdiction that meets all the requirements, it would just go through at staff level.
Depends what the what the zoning is in that particular area.
Okay.
So we may or we may not.
That's why I just wanted to get that clear. That's why we're.
But that's why I keep going back to the fact that we've got an open-ended door here with this 50. Everybody's hanging their head on the 50. I think you can clean it up by making the other ones so impossible to meet.
It should be like a checklist. So if it's under 30, however, it has other characteristics of one, then it still becomes a data center where then they would have to do maybe a variance or, some other
Every
request.
statute has holes in it. This one's got plenty of them.
Madam Chair, can I ask one question about the current approval for the data center on that other project that
I
was
don't
not
know
approved?
if we want to
There's a
talk
data center. I just want to know how many megawatts, if
No,
you
we
do know
can't
how
talk
many.
about that.
I don't think it's appropriate to talk about that application.
Well, didn't they
right?
say at the hearing it was 600 megawatts?
Okay. I don't remember.
Oh, no. The data center that is approved already for that.
You're opening
There's
the
already
door
an
to a
approval
lawsuit
for
there.
a data center there.
You're creating a lawsuit like us.
No,
Asking that.
Staff is
You don't know.
processing applications now, so, yeah, there's nothing
No
that's
approve.
approved. Yeah, there's
Yep.
no approval yet.
There was an approval for 206,000, but
Oh.
it doesn't have any back in 2016 when it was approved, but it doesn't reference any.
It didn't reference any megawatts, the one that was approved for that site. Okay, thank you.
Do you want to reiterate your motion?
Sure.
To define that?
Okay. I will recommend approval of the moratorium, but do not believe that the definition of large-scale data center is adequate and that it needs further work.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Don't make any sense.
All right, motion passes.
Do we need the B on that motion also?
Well, the B is part of what his motion
Okay.
was. It's A and B.
Is that correct? We just needed the one motion for A and B, or do we need?
You combined them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
that's
I
what
just
you
wanted
did.
to make sure. Yep, okay. Do we have any comments from any of the staff, the attorney? No?
No.
Any
I just want to advise people are going to be bringing forward quite a few more amendments to the Unified Land Development Code on different topics. We've also hired a consultant for reorganizing the Unified Land Development Code. So that is looking at hopefully adoption in April. So it'll be before that, somewhere around January, February. So
Excellent.
Yeah, reorganization. Yep.
With that, a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
We invite everyone to come out to visit the new Canyon branch. Please come out and visit us. It'll be open 7 days a week and be accessible to anyone who wants to come and visit. You can also visit us and learn more of our services at our website, www.pbclibrary.org. And on there you can register for activities, request material, and find answers to many of your questions. Thank you for your support of the Palm Beach County Library System. We look forward to seeing you at one of our locations.
A Florida Highway Patrol state trooper was struck from behind.
It only takes seconds for a devastating accident to happen.